Hello, this is Ken here from RD Labs. Hope this is reaching you well, no matter where you are in the world today. So coming to you with an absolute banger here. So basically what we're going to do today, we're going to do a project review. This is about a project called Intersolar. So Intersolar, this is their website, intersolar.io. What they're essentially doing is they are basically on the Solana ecosystem, and they're basically launching essentially a Launchpad in Insights. So we've seen a lot of launch pads on various ecosystems. There's been a couple on the Solana platform. So be interested to see what Intersolar is doing that other launch pads are not doing, right? To be able to ensure the uniqueness and how they can become an outlier in the space. If you haven't, please make sure you actually download the RD Labs DeFi checklist. And what we do is when we actually take a look at projects, we really go down in a granular aspect, right? We don't want to just look at the website to see what's information. We want to scroll down from on-page analysis, take a look at the product, if there's a product that exists, what's the pre-sale situation, if that's been conducted or not, then going through, once they've raised capital, is it locked, who's it locked with, going through the tokenomics, understanding more about what partnerships are in place, and then taking a look at who's audited the smart contract, the code. Want to take a look at the code, is it on GitHub, GitLab, and really find out as much information as possible. And then we essentially will give our views, then we'll give our advantages and disadvantages, and then also a result in terms of we're really interested in this project for this reason, and this is the reason why we're going to invest, this is the reason why we're not going to invest. So this is what we basically do. So let's get back straight to it. So ultimately here it says galactic perspective on Solana. So what they're trying to do here is connect project owners with early stage investors, providing comprehensive tools to build a winning portfolio. So it seems that when they say early stage investors, so they ultimately from that mean is early stage, i.e. seed, private, I guess, maybe even public sell IDOs before it launches, from my understanding, based on reading this information. They seem to have two pools. This is obviously Intersolar itself with their own native token, ISOLA. And then they have another two. If I just click on that, find out more information. Okay, that's cool. So basically, SolMinter gives you a breakdown of what they're trying to do. The foundation of the SPL ecosystem is a layer 0 solution sitting in the foundation. So the reason why I'm actually going through this is to understand when you actually build a launchpad, because we have a lot of expertise in that space. When you actually build a launchpad, it's really imperative that you come out the gates with the first project on your launchpad that has something unique that could really be a big banger, yes? Because that would really set the precedent for continued growth, amazing interest from the community, and this is where it comes. So this is the reason why I basically clicked on that link. Just taking a look, having a quick overview to see what they're actually doing here. So what they're doing is a layer 0 solution and a foundation SPL ecosystem. So what they're trying to do is provide token creation, vesting, liquidity functions, token minting, escrow. So there's obviously been a lot of demand in terms of NFTs. Let's just pop along to see what SolBank. So SolBank is another project that will be launching on Intersolar's Launchpad. Just take a quick look. So your bank would never publish your transaction history online. So what they're trying to do is the only privacy wallet in the Solana ecosystem, breaking the on-chain link between. Okay, so they're really trying to build up this whole confidentiality, the privacy aspect, but based on the Solana ecosystem. So it shows to me already that the team behind Intersolar have done some work to really provide some uniqueness in terms of connecting the dots regarding a wallet, and also the opportunity for people to essentially mint, manage the whole NFTs creation and liquidity lock and so on and so forth. So that's also a good heads up from the start. We'll obviously like to know more first and foremost in terms of when these projects will be launching, because what's also really important, especially with launchpads, you really need to have a very vibrant and committed community. And then once the community have really invested first and foremost in the native token in terms of Intersolar, and it does extremely well, then the first projects thereafter has to really have some momentum, right? Because that's where you can really scale. That's where you spread the word in terms of social media, Twitter, Telegram. People will be drawn and attracted to Launchpads if you can be able to come out with something of that magnitude, if that makes sense. So that's where we are regarding that. And their focus is only on the Solana ecosystem. So there's no mentions about moving over and having this whole cross-chain aspect. Their clear focus is on that, which is fantastic. The aim is to be able to be the best within your ecosystem and then grow. Then what they're having here, view pools. So early, secure, comprehensive. So basically early stage to essentially improve returns. Secure, so basically going through a vetting process. So it seems that they have a Launchpad and also a DEX. So liquidity for the DEX and also dark pools. So this will be interesting. Dark pools is a fascinating area because it will now allow liquidity for, as it shows here, private venue. But essentially what it's really doing is kind of like, in a way, shielding large trades and essentially from causing price slippage, yes? So it enables those that have, so let's say the larger type, let's say orders that's going in, that it could essentially be broken down into fragments and then matching those specific orders. So it's interesting what tends to happen there. If those orders are matched, they can actually look at, and I don't know if they had this within the roadmap, but they can build the integration between the Sol minter, right? Because the Sol minter is essentially having, actually it's Sol Bank. So Sol Bank is really having, in terms of transaction history, that it's basically private. So it's quite an interesting complementary aspect that they really thought through. It seems like they're actually creating their own technology behind that. So I'll be interested to know more. Again, this is something I'll add into the extra material to know more in terms of when this private venue exchange of some sort will be created. I guess if we scroll down, we'll be able to see that along the roadmap. So then they've got a dashboard. Dashboard is the charting tools. So this is interesting because what I've seen with a lot of Launchpads, they'll have a Launchpad. They may have some vetting process in terms of projects that want to launch. They're building out the community. But one thing that they're actually building in-house is their own charting tools, which I presume will basically show pairs of all of the projects listed on Solana. So here, trending hot pairs, track trading action, price movement, using built tools to identify trends and patterns. Okay, this is interesting. So it seems this type of Bloomberg of some sort, but for the Solana ecosystem, which is really required, right? And I guess that really helps in terms of once you have your token, then if they're coming out of the gates with a stream of consistent high quality projects that's essentially listed and added to their charting as a pair, right, combined with the DEX, then you can really build something very interesting. So definitely would like to see more in terms of a deeper dive regarding the offerings and the unique selling proposition in terms of the functions and so on and so forth from a UI and UX perspective that they're really going to offer to the users. And also, would this be free? Would it be like a type of freemium model, or would it be like let's say a SaaS, like a monthly paid area? So this is already sets them apart because they're building out a charting tool. They have a dark pools, which helps for let's say the larger type orders that's going through into the market, but also for the early stage private venue aspect. Then let's see here, roadmap. So fundraising, strategic. So marketing campaign, Intersola IDO. So third quarter. So this is where we are now. So dark pool beta launch. So very interesting to see this actually launch of that. And then the fourth quarter, they'll be looking at decentralized driven roadmap onwards. And then Solana malicious code checker. That'd be interesting to see what they're doing. So basically what I've done is just gone through, had a better understanding of what they're doing. And already there's some form of uniqueness regarding the project. What I also like to do is pull up Medium. So I really like to track to see what's interesting about the whole Solana ecosystem is that there's been a huge amount of investment that's been going in to Solana from well known. So the Alameda researchers of the world that's really investing, people putting in a huge amount of capital to improve and grow the whole ecosystem. So it's extremely early, but if you take a look at where they are regarding the TPS is like 50,000, which is phenomenal. You cannot front run. In terms of the trading language, the coding language is in Rust. Okay, so Rust is really high level. If you take a look at a lot of developers that are used to C++, tend to be attracted to Rust because obviously this is where they could be able to build upon. So there's a lot of aspect in terms of what the code is tends to be used in the main market in terms of critical infrastructure. So it just seems that they're really building upon. And also what you also tend to see is you see a lot of financial protocols, decentralized financial protocols looking to be built upon that stack, right? From let's say asset management pools to fund type structures to privacy wallets to dark pools. So it's a really interesting space, and I think the growth is going to be exponential. So let's just pull up to see where we are. So they've just given an idea of the introduction of what they're trying to do. Okay, so basically they secured the strategic funding round. So they raised funds from these notable investors here. Over 1 million was raised, oversubscribed by a 5x. So it shows that there's demand, right? Launchpad deep dive. So let's just pull up this. So here, what the project selection criteria, strong market fundamentals, comparables in terms of TVL, the tokenomics, team, tech and security. And then obviously it breaks down in terms of Launchpad. I will be adding all this information in the description so you can be able to go through it when you have some time. Guaranteed allocation. This is also one concern sometimes with the Launchpads where there's so much demand and then one doesn't get an allocation. So here it says there's a guaranteed allocation, which is a benefit, right? Intersolar user will have a guaranteed allocation to all projects, assuming they hold at least a minimum amount. Okay, so you hold a minimum amount, which is pretty standard. But what is not standard is a guaranteed allocation to all projects. So that is really positive. And then here it says hold more than the minimum, which is level 1 here of 400 ISOLA. And then obviously a snapshot will be taking place and there'll be a whitelisted, so on and so forth. Cool. So let's take a look at the tokenomics aspect. So tokenomics shows here $400,000 was raised at seed. Private was 624. So collectively that's more than $1 million, right? And then if we take, I also like to look at the lockups. I'm not a big proponent where you see seed and private being unlocked at TGE, right? I do like the process where there's a certain, so here 20%, 25% unlocked, which is fair. And then over the following 4 months, it's the remaining is basically spread out, which is pretty fine. And then IDO is pretty standard across the board. What you see is 100% unlocked at the TGE, and they're looking to raise, so hard cap here 125,000, so low the amount, which also means although 100% is unlocked at TGE, there won't be a huge amount of selling pressure, right? Due to the distribution available and clearly the amount raised. And the price point is good. You don't see a price where the seed price is, here is 8 cents, and then public IDO is 12 cents, right? 12.5. So we're not seeing a huge differential where IDO is at 16 cents or 24 cents. So seeds initially made a 3x straight away. And clearly, unfair, right, from IDO, from those participating during the public sale. So I do like that tightness in terms of the price points regarding seed, private, and IDO. So that's cool. And then as they move on, they've got foundation and team. So foundation and team, there's a 1-year lockup, unlocked quarterly over 3 years. Okay, so that's good. And then liquidity listing, 1 year locked. And this is what you tend to find also. Some projects will let lock for 2 months or for 3 months. Why? If you have built a project, have conviction that you're willing to build within that ecosystem for a long period of time, and then after a year, you can then see, okay, you succeeded on the ecosystem. You now want to transition or complement and work and build what you've succeeded within Solana in this case, and then build on another ecosystem, right? So 1 year is fine. Okay, let's just zoom out and just find out some more information. So what I'm doing is I'm going through this now, this whole flow, but what I basically will then do is I'll add this information into the DeFi checklist so you can clearly see the whole breakdown, and then I'll come out with a rating. And it's also important to take a look at what's happening within the Solana Launchpad ecosystem, and the various launchpads that's taking place will be launching, has launched already, or will be launching very, very soon. So this is a quick overview and a snapshot in terms of the comparisons regarding the launchpads within the Solana ecosystem. So what you can basically see here is you have Intersola, Sol Starter, Solanium, and Solpad, and basically just gives you a breakdown here of whether there's a product that's actually working, where it's coming out. So Intersolar is basically in July, so this month. And then Sol Starter is basically delayed, so I'm sure coming out something soon. Solanium have something due in August, and Solpad is yet to be confirmed, so coming soon. Project pools, so obviously what's upcoming. Intersolar have 2 already in terms of Sol Mint to Sol Bank. Sol Starter, obviously they're delayed, so currently there's nothing as of yet. Solanium has 5 upcoming pools or projects that they're going to be launching on their IDO, and also Solpad's coming soon. So in terms of funds raised, 1.1 million into Solar, 3.2, Sol Starter 3.5, Solanium, and 2.6 million. Market cap's very, very interesting here. I always like to take a look at the market cap and also what's raised. So with the small amount relative to the others that's been raised, the market cap is very, very low, 437,000 market cap. And then trading will be commencing, as it says here, July. Then you can also take a look at other market caps in terms of projects on various ecosystems, such as Polkastarter, 360 million. Obviously, they've been listed for a while. BSC Pad, 470 million. Trust Swap. So obviously, when you take a look at these comparisons and what Intersolar is doing in terms of the products that they're building within their on their stack, it shows that there's a massive potential in terms of growth. Execution is extremely important, right? So obviously the execution goes according to plan. You can really see a big opportunity in terms of where they're going. Then, so let's just pull that out. Then what I also like to do is go to their Twitter, 3,000 followers at the moment, following 8. And then just to scroll down to see what's happening here. So the Intersolar whitelist is now closed. So they had a whitelist for the IDO, it's now closed. So basically, if those that would like to participate would have to wait until the project is listed on the exchange, essentially. And then they can be able to participate thereafter. So, okay, that's cool. So Medium, I'll take a look at. So if I just go back here. So website, Telegram, Twitter, Discord, 4chan, Reddit, LinkedIn. I'm going through all this information to find out as much about the project. Then homepage, pools, about. So let's go to about. And what I do here is I'll find out more about what they're trying to do. So here, the reason why, obviously, what is Solana? Give information about the proof of history, the Tau BFT, Turbine, Gulfstream. So just giving a better understanding in terms of the performance of Solana and essentially why they've basically built, right? So C-level, parallel smart contracts runtime, transaction processing unit for validation optimization. Also here, the team's doxed, right? So there's LinkedIn also. So that's also positive, right? Because there has to be a go-to place where you can be able to know, okay, is there going to be a rug pull? What's going to happen? So at least there's accountability and responsibility here regarding the projects that they are doxed. So that's extremely important and something really positive to look at. So let's just go pop along here. So also you've got the Telegram group here. So you've got 3,100. I would definitely, any questions you have, once you've completed the document, any questions you have, it would then be good to raise it, go to Telegram, see how the communication flow is like, see what people are talking about, right? If there's some positivity, because essentially the community is the one that really drives a project like a Launchpad, right? Initially, then a DEX that they're working on dark pools. If you have this engagement and positivity, then that can really show some phenomenal growth in terms of what they're doing. So you really need to have that, and that's a standard moat that I've seen and experienced in this space. Okay, so going back, so my questions essentially would be, fantastic. Looking forward to seeing the dark pool beta launch. My question will be, when will this actually launch, so I can have an understanding. Intersolar IDO, also the whitelist is closed, so when is this going to occur? Marketing campaigns would be good to know. What are they doing in terms from a marketing standpoint to show that they're getting out there, they're reaching and communicating? It shows that there are clearly, from the Medium report that we saw, that there was clearly a massive demand from VCs, right? To be able to get involved, or investors to get involved and oversubscribe. So there's clear demand there. But we want to see not just from a investment VC aspect, but how they move in the needle from a marketing standpoint, helping from the consumer aspect, right? How they can be able to reach, once they launch the dark pools, once they launch the charting insights, what is the go-to along that roadmap? How they can be able to grow and get as many people as possible, eyeballs on their project, and utilizing what they're doing. So there's a quick recap. So what we'll be doing, we'll probably do another review as they go along, in terms of having a finite date of the IDO, the dark pool details, so we can give more of a coverage about what's happening. Hope all is well. Hope you enjoyed this review. Coming back to you with another one.